Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
The weather is a treat this morning. We're down to comfy now on our buggy meter, and we're seeing the coolest temperatures this morning that we've seen in almost 3 months. I'll show you.
Also new this morning, more students in Wake County will be able to get free breakfast and lunch starting next week. How school leaders are preparing parents today to take advantage of the changes to this universal meal program.
A case that could affect the sentences of more than 100 death row inmates in North Carolina nears its end. Closing arguments are happening today in a hearing over possible racial bias in juries and sentencing.
And a big traffic shift is coming this morning to the Beltline. How the way you get on and off I-440 in some places will be changing. And those changes will start tonight. You don't have to change a thing. You're in the right place to get all your news and get your Wednesday started here. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Renee Chu. But our weather is changing, and it's a good change. Yeah, we made it to Wednesday, but it's feeling like Fall Friday vibes, Elizabeth.
Man, it's amazing out there right now. We'll take a live look here at downtown Raleigh, past the legislative building. Look at this pretty sunrise in progress. You know, we ended up with a lot of cloud cover developing sort of around 8 or 9 o'clock yesterday morning. And that's possible again today, same sort of pattern. But my goodness, it's beautiful out there right now. 59 degrees and our dew point is 54. So you might be happy if you're in short sleeves like Renee and I are to maybe have just a little light jacket with you this morning. You won't need it this afternoon, of course. 62 in Fayetteville, 64 in Clinton, 55 in Roxborough, 59 in Durham, 58 in Rocky Mount. Our temperatures are anywhere from about 7 to, in downtown Raleigh, 13 degrees cooler than this time yesterday. That's a big drop. And a gorgeous afternoon, too, with high temperatures in the low 70s. Nobody wants to hear me say this, but we are likely to climb back into the 90s early next week. I'll show you why the pattern is changing back coming up in just a little bit. Ken?
All right, Elizabeth, we are looking forward to a quiet commute this morning at 6:01. I was working on getting a new map in there, forgive me. But right now we're actually experiencing a really quiet start to your morning commute. Good to have you with us this morning. All the major routes are delay-free this morning, which is a good thing if you're getting ready to head out the door. And with that in mind, let's take a look at one of our major roads, shall we? This is I-40 and Wade Avenue. Definitely traffic is picking up right now, but moving at a nice steady clip at this hour.
Ken, thanks. In just a few hours, closing arguments will begin in a case that involves race and juries. A judge's ruling in this case could affect the sentences of more than 100 death row inmates. WRAL's Laura Levine is at the state legislature building right now. And Laura, Hassan Bakote's attorneys are arguing in this case he was sentenced to death due to racial bias.
Jeff, this is a case that we've been following since the very beginning, with those closing arguments now set to begin in a couple of hours. Now, we know the outcome of this could revive 130 cases involving death row inmates when it comes to the appeal of the Racial Justice Act that happened before 2013. So attorneys representing Hassan Bakote tell me today we can expect compelling statements to back up evidence and testimonies from social scientists and historians presented throughout that 2-week hearing. They've argued that his case was mishandled because of racism in jury selection and training, and therefore he believes his death row sentence was tainted by racism. Gretchen Engel, the executive director at the Center for Death Penalty Litigation, tells me she is hopeful today there will be a reckoning, and this will motivate Governor Roy Cooper to bring on pardons before his term is up.
It's the thing that skews our system in a more punitive, more racist, less humane direction. And for him to take a stand there would be really significant. And I'm hopeful that will do the right thing.
So in the best case scenario for Hassan Bakote, his sentence will be commuted to life in prison. We know the closing arguments are taking place at the Johnston County Courthouse at 10 a.m. WRAL will be live streaming. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Covering Wake County, new this morning, when kids go back to school next week, more will be getting free breakfast and lunch. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey is live at Yates Mill Elementary School in Raleigh. Kelsey, good morning to you. Parents, I understand, will be getting an update today.
Renee, yes, they will be getting an update. So Yates Elementary School is going to be one of 20 new schools that will be offering free breakfast and lunch to all of their students without the hassle of filling out any paperwork. So about 60 Wake schools will be offering free school meals to all students this year. If your student does not attend one of these schools and you want them to receive free or discounted meals, there's an option. You must fill out a meals benefits application. Nearly 10% of Wake County households don't have enough food, according to county data. We spoke with Wake County Commissioner Matt Calabria about funding for free school meals. He says they reallocated county funds to get more federal dollars to pay for the program.
We have made incremental gains over the years, trying to add schools year over year. But this is the biggest jump that we have seen, at least in the last decade, if ever.
And we will have a full list of all the schools that are offering free meals to all students on our website, WRAL.com. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Starting at 9 tonight, the Beltline is undergoing another round of significant changes. Temporary off-ramps will be put in place for Wade Avenue and Hillsborough Street. And crews will be working to restripe the pavement on the ramps to the Beltline from Western Boulevard and Hillsborough Street. The work will create a collector lane, similar to what already exists on southbound US 1 to Walnut Street. The lane will be for Western Boulevard traffic getting onto I-440 East and will continue on I-440 East going toward Wade Avenue and Hillsborough Street.
This will be seamless. It is we're just shifting traffic so that we can keep working toward this being finalized and us being able to finish up 440.
The ramps are expected to reopen by 5 the next morning.
Tonight at the Democratic National Convention, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz will formally accept his vice presidential nomination. Other speakers will include former President Bill Clinton, former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. The theme for the night will be a fight for our freedoms. Last night, in a speech that ended just before midnight, former President Barack Obama closed night 2 of the convention with a rousing endorsement of Kamala Harris.
We have a chance to elect someone who has spent her entire life trying to give people the same chances America gave her.
Obama also paid tribute to his former vice president, Joe Biden, in his speech, saying picking him as his running mate was one of the best decisions he made as president.
Former First Lady Michelle Obama is calling on Democrats to stand up against former President Donald Trump. In her speech last night at the DNC, she says Democrats may feel confident now, but they need to maintain that all the way through Election Day.
So no matter how good we feel tonight or tomorrow or the next day, this is going to be an uphill battle. So folks, we cannot be our own worst enemies.
The former First Lady said Trump is doubling down on, quote, misogynistic and racist lies as a substitute for real ideas and solutions. Ahead this morning on Today, Savannah Guthrie is live from the Democratic National Convention to recap night 2 and look ahead to tonight.
Today, former President Trump and his running mate, J.D. Vance, will be in North Carolina, and they'll be speaking at the North Carolina Aviation Museum and Hall of Fame. That'll be in Asheboro at 2 o'clock this afternoon. WRAL's Ashley Rowe will be there, and she'll bring us live reports throughout the day on WRAL News and on WRAL.com.
Donald Trump says he will crack down on crime if he wins the election, and he is ramping up his claims that Kamala Harris is soft on crime. Trump spoke yesterday to law enforcement officials in Michigan. He pledged to make more use of the death penalty and to promote stop and frisk policies. He also attacked Harris's record as California Attorney General.
If she's allowed to be the president of the United States, you'll see levels of crime that you've never seen before. I will deliver law, order, safety, and peace, and I will protect those who protect us.
Trump's running mate, J.D. Vance, also spoke at a crime and safety event yesterday in Wisconsin.
Good morning, Chris Lovingood here in the WRAL Live Center. One headline we continue to watch this morning is that Ukraine continues to advance in Russia, and the mayor of Moscow even accusing Ukraine of, quote, one of the largest ever drone attacks there. Russian leadership saying that their air defense systems managed to catch about 11 drones above Moscow with a total of 45 Ukrainian drones overnight. I want to show you this video right here. Will you see this right here as it crashes into that truck there? Sources are saying this is video of a Ukrainian drone attacking a Russian pontoon, essentially on these bridges that have been being detonated and destroyed from these drones. And essentially why this is important is because these bridges allow access from Russia into Ukraine in terms of resupplying their troops. I'll leave you with one last thing here, just some satellite images of bridges here. You'll see this image right here where there's a bridge, and then this next one that's coming up, you see how it's damaged right there.
Chris, thanks for that. Traffic alert if you'll be on Wade Avenue later today. Westbound lanes between Canterbury Road and Gardner Street will be reduced to one lane. It'll be between 9 and 4 today, so Raleigh Water can do some sewer main repair work. The city's asking drivers to stay away from that area if possible.
We have a correction to make. Yesterday morning, we reported the arrest of Colton Redmond. He's accused of secretly recording a woman in the restroom at his workplace, which is a felony. Now, because Wake County City County Bureau of Identification published the wrong address, we misidentified the business in our initial reporting. Redmond was arrested at RDU Paving on Fayetteville Road in Raleigh. We reached out to that company, but that company had no comment. As more new businesses come to Southeast Raleigh, developers are working to keep up with the housing demand, where nearly 300 new homes will go in the rapidly growing area. Michelle.
And a woman in Connecticut lost everything when her home collapsed on Sunday because of rain and flooding. We'll hear from her coming up. And meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner tracking some beautiful weather for today.
Gorgeous for today and the next couple of days. We definitely have some weather whiplash in our 7-day forecast from 79 today to 94 on Tuesday. I'll show you why we're going to get back into the heat next week coming up.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
614, taking a live look at RDU. Look at the clouds that have started to fill in. We saw that same thing yesterday. We have a flow coming out of the northeast, and there's just enough moisture with that as we're cooling the atmosphere for a deck of clouds to form. It's a beautiful sunrise there, but we are seeing those clouds increasing like we did yesterday. Our temperatures have been really falling this morning, too. It's at 52 now in Lewisburg. We're 62 in Fayetteville, 56 in Tarboro and South Hill. So it's a bit on the cool side as you're heading out the door to walk the dog. If you're planning to be out in short sleeves this afternoon, which will be comfortable, you may actually want maybe a light long sleeve shirt this morning as you're walking the dog. We'll climb into the low 70s for this afternoon, and our humidity remains low. Coming up, we're going to take a look at the tropics and let you know if there's anything coming our way. Ken?
All right, Elizabeth, happening now in the WRAL Traffic Center. That road hazard that we told you about in the last hour on Poole Road and Kaya Drive has since been cleared, so no problems to report there. Let's take a look at the major routes heading into the capital city. Very little to no delays to report this morning. Similarly, in Durham, all the major routes are delay-free in the Bull City. And, of course, in about 10 minutes, I'll have an update on a new traffic pattern on the Beltline.
All right, Ken, thanks for that. We're talking about something new here as developers. Look at these open fields right here. What they plan to do with these open fields in Southeast Raleigh, hundreds of new townhomes as developers plan to build nearly 300 of them on Whitfield Street. That's Whitfield Road near Rock Quarry Road. It's all part of the effort to satisfy the need for housing in a rapidly growing part of Wake County. Durham-based Gander Development plans to develop that area, and they say the housing boom is happening to try to keep up with the influx of new businesses coming to the area. The developers say they are working to select a national home builder. They plan to break ground early next year.
A Connecticut mother is trying to figure out how to move on after her house collapsed on Sunday. WRAL's Michelle McConaughey is here now with the devastating video and what the homeowner is saying this morning. Michelle.
Yeah, Renee, this is just devastating. Brandy Marcuccio's home is gone. Look at the moments it collapsed. It collapsed on Sunday after historic rain and flooding hit Oxford, Connecticut. She said it was a typical rainy Sunday, and then things just started happening. She watched helplessly as water kept rising And then a tree took out her deck, her oil tank, and the bottom half of her basement. The ground around the home eroded, and that home eventually caved in. Even though everything she had is gone, she feels lucky to be alive.
Who am I to say anything about this when loved ones are gone? So, I have my son, I have my family, and we'll just move forward.
That's just so devastating. She said her 3-year-old son was not home with her at the time. He was with her parents that day. But the current record in Burlington, Connecticut is 12.77 inches of rain. That was back in 1955. More than 14 inches fell in Oxford earlier this week. The National Weather Service is looking into these numbers to confirm that that record has been broken.
Michelle, thanks for that. Several Wayne County government departments are closed today because of a broken water pipe. The county's Jeffries building in Goldsboro is closed because of the water damage from that broken pipe. The building houses the county's human resources, planning, inspections, and environmental health departments. Crews are working to fix the damage, and the county hopes to reopen that building tomorrow. A tradition that began in 1981 continues this Friday. Football Friday is back for its 44th season. We'll have highlights from about 25 high school football games from all around our area, plus some of the best sports reporters in the state. See if your touchdown is shown this Friday at 11:35 on WRAL. Football Friday is hosted by WRAL's Chris Lee.
After weeks of hot and muggy weather, we finally get a taste of fall. And Elizabeth, I know it's temporary, but we will certainly soak it up this week.
Fortunately, the first round of those high school games, the weather's still going to be nice for that. Such a treat. It can be pretty tough for those high school players in August sometimes. So this Friday should be great. We're looking at our flow coming out of the north. So we have this really delightful air mass that's moved in. Our cold front moved out, and we have a northeasterly flow, dropping our humidity, dropping our temperatures. We have some really pleasant mornings in our forecast. This view of downtown Raleigh shows mostly clear skies. We do have a little bit of low cloud cover that may develop in a few places. Our cold front has slipped eastward, and we're looking at a northerly to northeasterly flow across the area, keeping things very pleasant. As a matter of fact, sometimes in the summer, it's just too hot to fire up that grill. I don't know, it's a Wednesday, but if you've been itching to change things up a little bit, our temperature this afternoon, only upper 70s. After dinner or around dinner time, we're looking at temperatures in the mid 70s. So it should feel great. You can pull out that grill. A little breezy. I was out on the patio at lunchtime yesterday doing weather, and there was just a pleasant breeze, and we'll see the same thing again today, that northeasterly wind, about 10 to 15, just feeling very comfortable. The blue shaded area is where temperatures are below normal. That sticks around all the way through Saturday, but we get into Sunday and Monday, and we start to see that summer push moving back in. 79 is our forecast for today, though, so soak it in, enjoy it. Our normal high, average high is 88 degrees for this time of year, and the record for today is 105, set back in 2007. That's almost our all-time record high. Our all-time record was actually set this year at 106. A beautiful afternoon, though. 79 in Durham, 78 Rocky Mount, 81 in Clinton, 75 in Roxborough. Beautiful. Tomorrow morning likely to be even cooler than this morning, looking at 57. That'll be the coolest since June 1st. Looking at 56 in Rocky Mount, 50 in Roxborough. Almost in the 40s tomorrow morning in Roxborough, 60 in Fayetteville. But widespread 50s again for tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon, 82, Friday 82, Saturday 86. So we do start to see those afternoon temperatures creeping up, but we're still going to have some lovely weather for Football Friday. 6 o'clock, 80 degrees. At 7 o'clock, 74. So it's going to be really comfortable for all of our athletes. Thursday morning, 57. But there we go. Tuesday afternoon, 94. And it looks like into the first part of September, we could continue to see above normal temperatures. Our tropical outlook, nice and quiet. The next 7 days, we're not expecting any activity, but it is a busy time of year. We are in the peak of the hurricane season, and we tend to see 70% of our major hurricanes happening between now and October 10th. So likely to get active, but not in the next few weeks. Ken, I don't even want to look at it. I want to talk about what we're going to see next week. But it's not going to be long. The last average 90-degree day is the middle of September, so we're almost there.
What a treat. Quiet tropics and feels like fall. Yeah. We'll take it. And here's a treat for you this morning. Very little traffic in terms of major incidents to report on any of our major thoroughfares this morning. Many of you like to use that I-5 540 loop as an alternate route. That's free and clear this morning. We do have a traffic alert to tell you about this morning. Temporary off-ramps will be in place at Wade Avenue and Hillsborough Street starting tonight at 9. Lanes will reopen tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Crews will be working to restripe the pavement on the Beltline between Western Boulevard and Hillsborough Street. DOT spokesperson says this should be seamless for drivers. You won't have to worry about it. But look for those detours to help you navigate this temporary traffic shift. Again, it starts tonight at 9 p.m. and those lanes will reopen tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
Wake County school leaders are setting nearly $250,000 aside to keep your children safe in school. What they are planning to use that money to do.
And the next steps for Red Hat Amphitheater in Raleigh. The concerns people for and against plans to move the venue shared with city leaders.
This What's Trending report, sponsored by Rug & Home.
Well, it was on again, it was off again. The relationship between Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck is off again.
Yeah, a lot of people could see this coming. Ken Smith here now with What's Trending.
Yeah, long rumored Bennifer is over. Court documents show J.Lo filing for divorce from Affleck yesterday in Los Angeles. And what makes yesterday significant, it was the couple's second wedding anniversary.
Kind of an exclamation point right there. Well, they spent the summer separately. He was not at her 50th birthday bash, so they've been spending a lot of time apart. And look, people are going to pile on saying, oh, no surprise here. Oh, who couldn't see this coming? But here's the thing. I think it's a little sad that, you know, you have two really successful people and they have fame, money, all this stuff. And it just didn't work out.
Nope.
Yeah.
Well, here's someone who's always trending on a happier note. Taylor Swift's new music video for I Can Do It With a Broken Heart gives a behind-the-scenes look at her Eras tour. She debuted the video on stage last night as she ended her 5 nights of shows at London's Wembley Stadium.
Yeah, she'll be headed back to the U.S. now. And she's given away a couple of secrets in this, like how she gets to the stage, on the stage, in a cleaning cart, pops out of it. How she makes her exit, she jumps into an airbag off the stage. So Swifties will love this.
I know.
It's
she
all
needs a vacation.
Perfectly choreographed, though. I mean, she delivers every time. But it takes a lot of work to do that. Ken, thank you. Today, expecting military spouses can pick up a free crib at Fort Liberty. The giveaway is happening from 11 to 2 at the Hercules Gym on Post. The USO and Delta children have 500 cribs to give out. The event will also include a safety demonstration.
Some more questions this morning about the safety of Boeing's jets. A new investigation into cockpit seats after a malfunction led to a flight dropping quickly.
And check out these temperatures as you're about to head out the door. Widespread 50s for us this morning. I'll show you how much the dew point humidity has also dropped coming up.
Closing arguments are today in a case examining possible racial bias in juries and sentencing. How the ruling could affect the future of more than 100 North Carolina death row inmates.